Hello, today we will talk about democracy. Democracy is the word that we frequently hear in different kind of media like TV, newspaper. We often hear about it in school, and I think that this subject is very important, and I would like to share a few opinions about it. Generally, my attitude towards democracy is quite good. I think that democracy is a very well-tuned system with a lot of wisdom and a lot of depth. However, currently in the world there is a number of misconceptions about democracy, and these misconceptions, I would even say, they take away all the benefits, or nearly all the benefits, that democracy brings. There is a number of these misconceptions, and I want to talk about one of them. This misconception can be described by a single sentence, and it is democracy at any price. This kind of idea seems to be dominant in the Western world, which consists of Europe and the North America. And it means that the politicians in these countries, they consider democracy to be the only choice that society has, and they assume that democracy can provide a solution to every problem. In my opinion, democracy should be perceived as a tool that can be used to achieve certain goals, for example, prosperity. And just like every other tool, this tool should be used in appropriate circumstances. I'll give you a small example. Let's say if I want to cut an apple, I will use a knife. If I want to cut wood, I would use a saw. And if I want to cut metals, I would use some welding equipment. And when I listen to the Western politicians and see their views on democracy as the only choice that we have, then this kind of attitude would sound like if you say that the best tool for cutting materials is a chainsaw. And if you want to cut trees, you should use a chainsaw. If you want to cut an apple, you should use a chainsaw. If you want to go to dentist and dentist will drill your tooth, then dentist should use a chainsaw. Basically, this is a very ridiculous and naive concept, in my opinion. And I also think that my view on democracy is quite well confirmed by many examples. We don't need to go too far to find those examples. Just let's look at the modern world and at the challenges that modern developed economies face. Let's look at the big financial problems that the United States of America is facing right now. It has been going on for many years, and this country seems to be unable to solve this problem. Let's look at Greece, Italy, Spain, and other developed democracies. They all have problems that they cannot solve. And also, these countries are losing in competition to such countries as China, which is widely considered to be non-democratic. So, at the certain time, United States of America and Europe, they have achieved tremendous progress. But it was in the different time, when the conditions were different. Therefore, I think it is required to very carefully define which conditions are most favorable for democracy and which conditions are least favorable for democracy. But apparently, as the experience shows, democracy does not apply for every single situation. And the more disturbing is the fact that the Western politicians do not only choose democracy for themselves, but they also enforce it on other countries. For example, Afghanistan, for example, Iraq, Libya, Singapore, etc. And there is so much criticism about the lack of democracy that is flowing towards many other countries from the West, towards such countries as China, Russia, again Singapore, Venezuela, etc., etc. So I find this approach, democracy at every price, as very disturbing, and that needs to be reconsidered. I think that democracy should serve as an option or as one of the choices for the society about which political regime should be chosen, but it should not be the only choice. And when Chinese people say that communism, I talk about political terms, not economical terms, when they talk that communism is suits the Chinese society better than democracy, I think that Chinese people, it doesn't necessarily mean that Chinese people are stupid. Thank you.